Thanksgiving. What we've got here is a very special version of Coffee with Scott Adams. I'm going to be doing a little drawing of a cartoon today, live. And also reminding you that the only place you can get the Dilbert 2025 calendar is at the link you can find at dilbert.com. And I've got some other books that you can buy as presents because I think all your friends would want them. So this program will be rated G, in case you want to bring your friends and show them how to draw a comic. I'll show you what I'm using here as a tool. I don't see any comments yet. There we go. Comments. So I'll be using this tool. It's a very thin, very light device that is sold by Wacom, and it's called a Move Ink. And I could show it to you if I get this off its leg. So can you see the label? Move Ink. So I've tried a number of these little devices that connect to a computer. My main computer is the one you see right here. So this is the big guy. But it's not portable, so I like to work in different places like my man cave, etc. So I got used to the small portable, and it's terrific. It's terrific. So anyway, this is made by Wacom, and both of them use a stylus, which means that you draw directly on the thing with it. Now it comes with this weird little half glove because your hand is on the device, and it just keeps your hand oils away from it. Family friends of the 333 rep. Don't like the sound of that. I should be wearing my beanie hat. Let me fix that. Beanie hat coming on. There we go. You can get the beanie hat at just Google Coffee with Scott Adams and merchandise. It'll pop right up. All right. So the first thing we need to do is write a comic. So I don't have a comic idea yet. So I'm going to open up my Locals app on my phone because then I can see their comments separately. And what they're going to do, since they've done this before, they're going to give me ideas for comics. And then I'm going to draw one right in front of you. So I'll write it in front of you and then draw it in front of you. Now, it would seem to me that I should be able to see myself. Is there a reason I'm not visible to myself? Come on, Scott, you can find yourself. It's fun because it's placed randomly. I'll be damned. So I'm live streaming on Locals, but it's not on Locals. Is there anybody on Locals? Oh, fun. How fun. It's everywhere except the main place that it needed to be. Well, looks like we're going to have to do a separate screen here. All right. I'm going to do a separate screen so the people on the Locals platform are watching. Man cave with drawing. Get in here now. All right. So if you haven't seen it, this is the Locals app. So this is a subscription service. These are the people who have the most interest in watching my content, both the comics and the political stuff. So here they are going live, and comments are streaming in. So I had a little technical difficulty, guys, on locals. So you're not coming through the studio, which means you're going to get the. I'm going to give you this view. There we go. You're going to have that view. And then I can show you my work when I have it. So here's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to be drawing, writing a comic, and here I am in the local studio. So I'm showing locals what the rest of you look like, and then you can see what locals looks like. So locals is streaming right now. All right, what we're going to do is first we need an idea. Does anybody have one? Happy Thanksgiving. You're feeding the kids and you're blessed? Well, this is the perfect live stream to go with your dinner. Pointy hair resisting. I don't want to do DEI again because I've done that too much. So if anybody has some ideas of anything that's bugging you about the world or about work, I was thinking of doing one about where Wally is the only person who goes to work, and he's gone native, and he's just wearing a loincloth because he's the only one there. It's not going to be Robots Read News. This is going to be a Dilbert comic. Yeah, you're gonna watch the actual creation and writing process, followed by the drawing. So I'll tell you what I'm doing as I go, so you can kind of learn. So the first thing I do, if you're just coming in, is I have a template, and I have a drawing pad. So it's a digital drawing pad. It's connected to my computer. If you missed the first part of the live stream, that describes where it is, and if you want one. I'm not selling them. I'm just describing it. Now, did you know the Dilbert calendar is available, but only at the link at dilbert.com? That's right. All right, so I have one idea, and the test of an idea is if it's funny before you write the dialogue. So it should be a funny concept. So one concept is that Wally is going to work in the office because there's nobody else there. And then, what would Wally do? So I'm controlling my light. Do you see Bill Maher gave her a rod and glove? GM of Jaguar. Oh, yeah. Raw Dong Lover. Yeah. 5 calendars you're getting tomorrow. Good for you. Wally takes Ozempic and gets thin. But how's that funny? So here's your first writing tip. You cannot make a funny joke about a medical problem. That's number one. You can't make a joke about a medical problem. Not only because it will offend some people, but you just can't do it. And nobody's ever made a joke about a medical problem that you remember and say, oh, I remember that medical problem joke. The other thing you can't do is food-related jokes. You can do them, but it's a sign of a bad writer. Studying things that will never be used, and the common sense would tell us. You work as a scientist whose entire career is studying things that will never be used. Expand on Beth. I don't know if she'll be a regular. Lame AI. Yes, blackmail. How about the person who runs the? All right, let's do the blackmail theme, because that That seems to roughly follow the real world. So you can imagine it working in the office, but it's based on something that you're familiar. Now, I've got a character called Mordak, the Preventer of Information Services. So first thing I'm going to do is get my cursor over here. And I'll show you as I go, but I won't show you necessarily every letter that I write. But let's see, you guys are going to come over here. Let's see if there's any way I can get you to see this. Well, kind of. Kind of. You won't see it as this happened, but trust me, it's like radio. So I've got a little technical setup that I've never used before. So I've got on a computer I haven't used. So who knows what's going to happen. But I use a font of my own handwriting. Oh my God. There's a thing that appears in Photoshop that just gets in the way of whatever you're doing. And it's automatic. Seriously? All right. So it takes like 5 minutes just to get all the Photoshop debris out of the way so you can type something. All right. So first panel of a Sunday cartoon, this will be a larger one with 8 panels, will be the introduction of the idea. So I'm going to have the boss ask Mordak to do something. Can you give me an update on the network status? So that's just sort of generic. Give me an update on the network. So I'll show you, and then I'll show you this. All right, so it's just typing my own handwriting, and it's highlighted right now, but the black background will go away when I click on it. So the first panel, how many people do we have here? I don't know how many people are on X, but let's put you up here. Give you the alternative view. By the way, if you're on locals and you don't like that view, you can jump on the other. If you jump on one of the other platforms like X or YouTube or Rumble, you will have this view. So if you care, if it matters. All right. So the first panel is Mordak. Can you give me an update on this network status? Now I'm going to introduce the problem. And Mordak says, that sounds hard. How about I don't do that? Would you put a question mark after that? Because it's sort of like not really a question. If you say, how about I don't do that? Then the blackmail comes in. So in the third panel, Mordak starts hinting. So, I can see all of your network traffic and sites. I can see all of the sites you visited. Now I can see all of your messages and the sites you have, and the websites, pages. And then the boss is going to have some reaction to that. What would the boss's reaction be? So the first 3 panels I need a digital calendar app. By the way, if you're trying to get the Dilbert calendar, the only place you can find the sales button is at dilbert.com. It's the first thing at the top of that page will take you to the sales page. And you probably want to get it this week to make sure that you don't have any problem with production and shipping. Anything you buy today, the Dilbert calendar, probably you'd have it in your hands in 2 weeks if you bought it today. As it gets closer to Christmas, no guarantees. All right, so boss says to Mordak, the preventer of information systems, Mordak, can you give me an update on the network status? And Mordak says, that sounds hard. How about I don't do that? And Mordak says, I can see all of your email messages and the web pages you visit. And the boss would say, what are you trying to say? How about I'm saying maybe you don't want the world to know about your love of tiny horses. Your love of tiny horses? Is that funny? Now, normally, since this is Dilbert Reborn, I can make it naughty, but because it's Thanksgiving and families are watching, I'm gonna keep it nice. So, is it funny just to say that the boss has a hobby of loving tiny horses? No. About I got one. To know about your browsing of naked animals. Boss will say all animals. He'll say no animals wear clothes. No animals wear clothes. And then Mordak will say, organ grinder monkeys do. Monkeys do. All right, that's not very funny. Anything with a monkey is funny. Fuzzy cats. R.I.P. Peanut. Peanut the squirrel. All right, so Mordak, can you give me an update? That sounds hard. Yeah, that's not funny. So we're about this far along in the writing of it. Let's see if I can get the light so it doesn't destroy the picture. Well, trust me, there's writing on it. So about this far along. You really can't see that, can you? So I spent about an hour trying to figure out how to get what I'm doing in a separate window. So there'd just be a window there. But apparently, the software does not allow Photoshop to be in a separate window. Only some apps can be in the separate window. And this is not one of them. All right. Mm-hmm. Let's see what's going on there. I got mentioned on Math. You laughed out loud at organ grinder monkeys do. Well, let me put that in there. I didn't know how many people who had been born more recently would even know what an Oregon ground deer monkey is. Um, that's an exception. All right. Well, maybe you should send the kids away. I, I thought I could make this rated G. It turns out I can't do it. It'll be PG or PG-13. All right, I'm revising my estimate. Still nothing too naughty, no bad words. Um, all right, I gotta write it and then I'll tell you what I. All right, but I have to hit the theme that he's being blackmailed a little bit harder. Uh, Maybe you don't want the world to know about your web searches for naked animals. I will show you the drawing eventually. There's a pickpocketing money named Jimmy. What? All right. DEI staffers. All right, what's happening over here on locals? Only 100 people? Well, the rest of you with family? So if you're looking for gifts, my books are tremendous gifts because they're in that low dollar amount. And you could almost always know that somebody will like them. They're the best books ever written, according to me. All right. All right. We're going to say that you got caught searching for pictures of naked monkeys. Mordak. All right. Mordak is going to push back harder. Instead of that sounds hard, he's going to say, I could, or I could blackmail you. You know, I can see all of your email. You can see all of your internet traffic. You know, I can see all of your web usage. For naked monkeys, naked animals. Um, hmm. So I need to write myself out of a corner here. You getting over a stomach bug? So I have to give you a lesson on sarcasm. So there's a member here who is trying to be sarcastic in all caps, and he says, "Ooh, oh, I'm Scott Adams. I'm so amazing. YouTube is throttling me." He means throttling. Now, here's a key for mocking somebody with sarcasm. It doesn't work if the mocking is literally what's happening and it's obvious to everybody. So here would be another bad example of sarcasm. Oh, Scott Adams thinks he's affected by gravity. Oh, he's so important. He thinks gravity is affecting him. Well, see, that doesn't work because it's actually true that gravity affects me. So here would be another one. Oh, Scott, he thinks he's a human being because he acts like a human being. He has DNA like a human being. See, it doesn't work because I'm actually a human being. Likewise, it is common knowledge that YouTube is throbbing certain people, and if you looked at my YouTube traffic, it's like completely flat for years, which is almost impossible. Whereas my other traffic and other things is, normal. So try harder with your sarcasm. I need some good sarcasm, not the cheap stuff. Hey, how come this isn't working? Uh-oh. This will work. All right. Maybe you don't know. I'm saying maybe you don't want the world to know about your web searches for naked animals. No animals have clothes. Organ grinder monkeys do. That's an exception. You search for naked monkeys. You searched for naked monkeys. To me, that's pretty funny. All right, now the boss has to say something that's like the final statement. I don't need a network. I don't need a status update. So he's just going to walk away. All right, so let's save that so I don't lose it. Macy sprayed was sad. You searched for shaved monkeys. All right, I'll read it to you so you don't have to see it. But what I'm showing you is that all I did was type the words because I created a font of my own handwriting. So it looks like the way I would write, except I type it. I've been doing that for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. So here's what it says. The boss will talk to Mordak, who's the information services guy. And the boss says, Mordak, can you give me an update on the network status? And Mordak says, I could, or I could blackmail you. You know, I can see all of your web usage. And the boss says, what are you trying to say? And Mordak says, I'm saying maybe you don't want the world to know about your web searches for naked animals. And the boss says, no animals wear clothes. And Mordak says, organ grinder monkeys do. The boss says, that's an exception. And in the last panel, Mordak says, you searched for naked monkeys. And the boss says, I don't need a status update. What do you think? Funny enough? See, I can't go full funny because then I get in trouble. All right. Let's see if there's any way at all I can adjust this so you can see what I'm doing. And by the way, if you didn't know, the Dilbert calendar is available at the link at dilbert.com. All right. There's some non-zero chance I can make this sort of work. Maybe sort of. But what I really need is something to prop up. Something like this. Something like this book. There you go. Something like that. All right. So if you're on Locals, you're going to have a tough time seeing this. All right, none of you are going to be able to see the, well, you might be seeing a little bit. So when I do the actual drawing, I expand the, I zoom down so you'll be able to see it a lot better when I zoom. Huh, why is that not working? Why not? That's Windows. So I need to find the navigator. Navigator. Oh, wow, really? Is this really happening? Am I really having a dead pen? Oh, no. Dead pen. Oh, no. The pen may have run out of energy, which would be a weird and terrible coincidence. All right, so to make that work, I would need to find a charger of that type. I can't remember if this is a USB-C. Oh, shit. I think we're done here. So I dropped my pen on the ground the other day, and it looks like what broke was the charger port. Huh. So, just so you know how my day is going, this is the tool I use every single day. It has worked every single day since I bought it. But the charging port got broken when I dropped it on the floor, and now it's out of power. And it's the only one I have. So I just spent all afternoon putting together this live stream so that I can show you drawing in person, and there is no way to do it. There's no backup. I did, however, think to myself yesterday, you know what? Sooner or later, I'm gonna lose this stylus or break it. So I'm gonna buy an entirely new kit that would include a stylus and another drawing pad, so that, you know, because it's a business thing, so I always have a backup. The battery is dying on my locals feed. So it would appear that everything is going wrong. Absolutely everything. It's a weird coincidence. However, there's one possibility left. One possibility. It's a long shot, but let me check it. Because it's possible, but not probable. No, I don't think the new one has been delivered. Yeah. Here, I got to check on this phone. Locals, are you going to disappear for a minute? I'll be right back. All right. I'm going to check Amazon and see if there's any chance they left it outside my house. That would be a weird coincidence. Huh. And I just realized I didn't buy it from them, so that's not going to work. Hey, I'm back. I'm back. Shady's back. Whoa. So let me think. Could there be any other way to charge this? I can't believe I didn't notice that it was the charging port that broke when I dropped it. It does come apart. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bail out because this is a dismal failure. I tried as hard as I could. So it turns out just a total failure. The problem with drawing with a stylus and with the technology is I probably had to solve 5 distinct technical problems just to get to the point where the stylus ran out of power. And by the way, it worked 5 minutes ago. How could it not work? Is it really possible that it only ran out of energy at the exact time I wanted to use it? I wonder if there's something else going on. No, it's not. Something else is going on. You know what? There might be a way to save this. It might be savable. What I'm going to do is close and reopen Photoshop because it's starting to look like the problem might be the app and not the stylus. I still have a broken stylus I can't charge, but they do last a long time. And it would be a weird coincidence that it died. Okay, we're getting all kinds of artifacts and stuff. It'd be quite the coincidence if it died at the precise moment that I needed it most. The odds of that seem low. So we're going into author mode. Oh my God, did I just lose the whole feed? Okay. I think I lost the entire feed. File open recent. Sunday. Well, let's see if the pen works. Nope. Does not work. What is going on? Or does it? Wait. Oh, it does not work. Oh, damn. All right. Did I disappear there? Oh my. My, oh my. You got a jet? Well, that didn't work, so I don't know. There's one other thing I could try. Want me to try one other thing? One other thing to try. All right, I'm going to pull the cord on this. I have a backup laptop. So just in case the problem was on the laptop, we can now determine that. Because it would be the same stylus and same Photoshop and everything. So just imagine how cool it would be if any of this worked. I mean, just totally cool. But it seems I've removed Photoshop from this because I could only have 2 Photoshops open. So I removed it from this machine just before I started working. If you think about the number of coincidences that are thwarting me, it's the time that the stylus coincidentally runs out of energy, which rarely happens. At the same time, I move Photoshop off of the one machine that works and onto the one that doesn't. I don't know. It's a lot of coincidences. Let's see if I can move it back. We'll see. Oh, except I have to use an app that's on my phone. So locals, you're going to disappear, I think, for a minute. It's called the Adobe Account Access. And it needs to know my number. Approved. Sorry. So then, ooh, what if this works? I will be like the bee's knees. Oh, I think it's going to make me like download the app for 45 minutes, even though I already have the app on my laptop. It could not be more annoying. All right, author mode, in case you wondered, is where you recognize that you're part of the simulation and that you're part of the ability to author things. So if this opens with Photoshop, it will be an amazing thing. I'm about halfway to knowing if this laptop works. Have you noticed that when you go to a dentist or have any kind of doctor appointment where they're doing something unusual, and you don't know if it's going to take 45 minutes or 5 seconds, and they don't tell you? Have you ever had that? Where, like, you go in for some medical or dental thing. MacBook Pro. And they'll say, all right. Seriously? It's not, server. Oh my God. Adobe's server is not responding. Okay. What are the odds that Adobe itself would go down right now? Like Adobe is out of business right now. Adobe. So at the same time, my stylus runs out of power. The Adobe's servers go down. You think that that's even possible at the same time? Okay. All right, try this. So here's what's going on. Adobe is a subscription service now. So if you want to use it on more than one machine, it's authorized on 2 machines with the plan that I have. You have to turn one off and deactivate it, so it's on the other. But it's real easy. It just shows you which ones are activated, and you just click the other one. So there's no work involved, except that it tells me, sorry, Adobe says, our server is not responding. Please try again. Yeah, which, by the way, worked fine 5 minutes before I turned on the live stream. Is this really happening? These are really just not responding. I'll be darned. Let's try it again. We're going to hit it with the default. All right. You know, author mode isn't magic. My liberal aunt getting roasted. Oh, I can't wait for my robot. Do you know how many times we're going to have problems with my robot? MacBook Pro. Hey, look at that. Simply turning it off and turning it on worked. So we've gotten one step closer to the idea. Oh, Now my only problem is I opened the wrong file, which is a separate problem. That means that the file I want might exist somewhere. But where would it be? So I'm looking for 1201. So the two computers are both working on my Dropbox, but they don't appear to be synced, which means that the file I created on my other laptop is not available in the cloud to this laptop, even though they're both looking at the same thing in the cloud, but it didn't translate to the cloud. Oh, but can I be sure of that? Have you noticed that search doesn't work on any computer? Have you noticed that? Like if you search your text messages and you know that there's stuff there, it won't find it. If you search an email, sometimes. But if you search your computer for a file, how often does that work? So I'm going to search for the file name because, oh, that's interesting. It says it's there. Huh. Well, this could be interesting. Ah, I found it. All right. Now, the next technical question is, will it be possible to hook up my drawing pad? Oh, well, let's see if the stylus works. I think the stylus will work. Oh, no. Seriously? Oh, God. No, the stylus actually was out of power. There's just no, I'll do this PG. There's just no way that this is the time it decided not to work. It's just not possible that this exact moment is when it died. Because I made sure it worked before I even went live. So it literally worked moments ago. So why would this not be working? Oh, I got an idea. Wait, we're not done yet. We're not defeated. Turns out something wasn't plugged in. That makes a big difference. Plugging stuff in. All right, you're going to have a much better look at things under this scenario. Much better. Now, stop it. It's working. Look at us. Author mode. So let me give you a better look. Let's see. I don't know that I can get you so that you're looking down there. I don't think there's a way to do it. If you go sideways. Anyway, we're going to start with that. And then I'll show you as I go. This is the part you've all been waiting for. All several hundred of you. All right. Now, so what we do is we blow this up. We did get it to work. Amazingly. So get all my tools set. And then adjust the lettering so it's out of the way. And then select the layer. All right. So I'll have the boss will be walking in. And he's got a little potato-shaped body. And the initial drawing is just a placeholder. So I'm basically just sizing things. So I'm going to resize that a little bit smaller and show a little bit more room for his legs so you know he walked in. Then Mordak is going to be sitting at his desk. And I have not drawn Mordak in many years, so I'm going to have to remember how I draw him. I think he had a cape. You're excited? Well, you should be. All right, so I'm going to go in close on Mordak. And we'll work on his face. And if I'm happy with that, we'll do the rest. Now, drawing on the computer is almost like carving. So you just sort of get the general idea, and then you have lots of time to fix it. Now, Mordak has ears like a vampire. And he has hair like a monster. Now, my art director does the final art, so I just have to get it in the ballpark. As long as she knows what I'm trying to draw, then she just does her version of it. All right. So that looks like Mordak. So there's Mordak. So it's easier to draw when you go in tight because then everything's bigger. So then I draw back to make sure that I've got got everything in this right place. I'll have Mordak working on a computer because that's what he does. And one of the things that Photoshop does is it lets you draw straight lines really easily. You just indicate where you want the line to end up, and it just puts it there. All right, so far he doesn't have detail on his clothing. Here he is upside down. So I'll fill in his clothing in his chair, but I'll save my work. Aren't you glad you stayed around? Maybe not. All right, then I like to give some dimensionality to his chair. And I give him a lanyard. All right, so now we've got upside down. So how many people? We got 100 people on locals. And let me see. YouTube 355. Rumble 211. Is anybody watching X? X is probably bigger. All right, let's save that. And we'll do the boss. We'll go in a little tighter. Clean up his head a little bit here and open up the front because that's where his nose is going to be sticking out. And then I open up the back. All right. I think you can kind of see it pretty well. On locals, you guys have all seen this a few times, so I give you the spectator view. And if you draw the same characters for 1,000 years, you sort of intuitively know when the dimensions are off. Sometimes you don't know what's off, and you have to experiment a little bit. But it doesn't have to be perfect because, like I said, my art director finishes it. Have you noticed that all the men and all the women in the office wear the same clothes? Now, I often give them beverages. Do you know why? Why do I often give them beverages? The answer is twofold. Office workers often have a beverage. And number two, it adds some interest to the pose. Otherwise, they're just standing there with their hands hanging down. So it's mostly just that variety. But it's a realistic kind of variety because it's what people actually do. All right, so give them some legs. Give them a lanyard. And then the boss is the one who's talking. All right, so I'm going to lose power on my phone unless I give it a little juice. So here's a little juice for the phone, locals. Can you feel that? Locus is the not only text stream chat, yes. What? All right. So let me show you the first panel. So in the first panel, boss is talking to Mordak. If I went in really close, you'd see that it's sort of scratchy. It's not final art looking. Yeah, look, you could use the Rumble feed to see the different angle. All right, I just don't have any way to prop my phone up so it can look down. All right, so then Mordak. Okay, I got to fix the boss because he's leaning forward too much for no reason. So I'm going to Control T it, move it back too far, straighten him up. Perfecto. All right. So since it's the same characters in the same situation, I'm going to copy that first panel I'm going to drop it in the second panel and adjust their placement. And then I'm going to collapse the layers because there's no reason for this to be a separate layer. Then I'll adjust the wording so it's closer to the one who's going to be talking. Then I'm going to erase Mordoc's face. Huh. Okay, you have to have the right layer selected. So the reason I'm erasing Mordec's face is because he's going to be turning toward the boss. That puts his widow's, I guess you call it widow's peak. It puts his vampire ears on the side. And he's going to be looking shifty and evil. So we'll give him these shifty, evil eyes. With a little quizzical look. Because he's testing out an idea to see if he can get away with it. All right. So he's evil but happy. We don't need that line there. Now, the boss who's listening to this has to have a reaction face. So his reaction face will just be absorbing it, taking it in. But his other hand, which had been dangling at his side, will now insecurely, it will be doubling up, holding the cup. Because he's a little less confident now that he's being blackmailed. He's also going to have some eye reaction. So let's say his eyes are going to be bigger. So, but you got to get those little eyeballs exactly right, because people will really notice that. You can really tell if the eyeballs are not in just the right place. All right, so he says, or I could black you. Block you, not black you. All right, save that, because I'll save each panel. But now the next thing I'm going to do is do a close-up. So I'm going to copy his close-up face. And we're going to go big. And we're going to Control T, and we're going to, oops. I'm going to go big. So he'll be big in this panel. Here's the upside down version for locals. Then, by the way, if you're having Thanksgiving dinner and you have a 12-year-old boy in the family, a 12-year-old boy really needs to see this because it turns out the 12-year-old boys really like to know how to draw comics. All right. So, where will his hands be? I'm going to give him shifty hands. So he'll be rubbing them together, as evil people do. And we'll just move the, combine those layers. All right. Combine those layers. Give him his lanyard. Complete his chair. Move the wording to the center and up. Connect the wording to the character. And that should do it. His hand is too big. All right, that should do it. Now, hey, what happened? Now, the boss, pointy-eared boss, in case I'm just giving the studio people a different view. Is anybody still interested? How many of you are interested in watching how this works? If you started from the beginning, you would learn the writing techniques because I wrote it while people were watching. And more importantly, if you just got here, you don't know that the Dilbert page a day calendar is available now. You can buy it in time for Christmas. And the link for it is at dilbert.com. It's the one at the top. Just click on the calendar. And it's the only place you can get it. You can't get it at stores. Can't get it at Amazon. It's made in America. And so we had to do it a little differently than normal to make it in America. Had to cut down a few of the middlemen, such as Amazon and the bookstores. Anyway, so then the boss is going to be big. So when you've got two people talking, and that's going to be basically the whole comic, which is not unusual, by the way, you have to play with the angles and the size and the focus so that it doesn't look like every picture is the same. They're not that different, but they don't have to be that different in order for people's brains to understand that you did a little extra work. So there's the boss's head, and he's a little concerned because he's getting blackmailed. So his eyebrows will be a little concerned. It's very hard to draw their noses because they're symmetrical, or I intend them to be. Sometimes more than others. All right, we give him some ears. Now you'll note that a lot of my characters look like this. So before I give the boss his hair, he could be Wally if he gave him glasses. So basically the boss and Wally are the same character. Only the stuff like the glasses and the hair are different. So the boss has got this pointy hair. And I don't even need to do that, but it looks weird to me when it's not colored. And the reason I don't have to do it is because my art director finishes the art. So this is just the first draft. Can you even see this? I guess you can kind of see it. The accoutrements, that is correct. Accoutrements. All right, locals, I'm going to, oops, sorry about that. Locals, I have to check one message, so hold on. Hold on. Huh. All right. I have to tell somebody I'm live streaming, so. All right. That should get us in good shape. All right, back. They took lied Doctor Who's Santora's what? Everybody's in a weird mood tonight. Weird mood. All right, let's finish this up. We'll save it. I might make him a little bit smaller so that his coffee shows. So that will be his coffee holding arm. By the way, do you notice that I burp when I do live streams a lot? Does anybody notice that? It's not something I do when I'm not live streaming. And I learned when I was doing audiobooks that people who do a lot of talking do more burping. So it's a function of doing all the talking. All right, so the boss is holding on to his coffee, his dear coffee. And we'll give him his lanyard. And then I give the boss a few lines around his eyes just to show he's starting to get worried. This is the boss starts to get a worried look. Then it's a good thing I ordered a second one of these. So then I'm going to cheat. You may have noticed this. So I'll usually take one panel and turn it into a cityscape, so you can tell that they're in the office. So if you know which one's talking, so in other words, if the dialogue makes it obvious which one of the characters is talking, such as the person who is answering a question, that always makes it a little bit obvious. Then you can move it to an external view where you've got the cityscape in the background. And it's an external building. Now this one I really don't put any work into. Because this one will be completely done by my art director. So one panel is easy. All I do is give it an outline of a building against a cityscape. So it'll have lots of detail when it's finished, but that detail will be done by my art director, not by me. So all I do is sort of just indicate what it looks like, and then she'll add the windows. And she is very, very good at what she does. I got so lucky. All right, so we're going to have the boss looking worried. So I'm going to copy him from where he was in the earlier one. He'll be in the same place. but he'll be complaining that no animals wear clothes. And then we'll slip in a Mordak. D. All right, so I'll take one of the Mordak views. I can take that one, I guess, because I'm going to modify it. What? Collapse the layer. Copy, open up, paste. You notice this is closer to programming than it is to art. Does anybody notice that? I probably use as many special character codes on the keyboard as I do drawing anything. So it's sort of like a hybrid between computer programming, because there are just tons of commands you have to learn, and drawing. I would say it's not similar to drawing. It's a whole different deal. You know what? I think I'll turn him around. Shall he ever turn around? Yes, he shall. All right, this will be tough. Okay. I can never figure out how to 180 him. All right, we'll have to go to the menu. Transform. Flip horizontal. All right. Now, so I flipped it around horizontal. But I'm still just using it as a placeholder. You know what's amazingly bad about the interface? I just have to complain about this. So, can you tell the difference between where I'm pointing and this? Do they look the same to you? Because one of them will move this, and one of them is the other thing. But all of the edges look like the same, and depending on what angle you're at. So, like from this angle, this and this are the same. But if I change the light angle, I can maybe identify the difference. It's a terrible interface. Each of these should have a really distinct top, because you're always moving around. I can't believe this is like the 90th iteration of Photoshop and nobody figured that out yet. All right. So we're going to gut Mordak, because we have to redraw him looking this way. We have to fix his hands, because it doesn't make sense that his hand is out there like that now. So really it's just sort of a placeholder. All right. So we'll give him his widow's peak. We'll give him his vampire ears. We will fix his vampire ears because they're too big and in the wrong place. I'll keep the size. That's all right. Then people always say, how long does it take to make a comic? Well, you're kind of seeing. So the reason I'm looking around is to see how I did Mordek's eyes every time. So he doesn't have ordinary eyes. They're always going to be a little evil. But I get his widow's peak in the wrong place, so it's in the way. All right. Well, should I have him crossing his arms? Here now is the hardest thing in cartooning to draw. A character with crossed arms. It's very difficult. So the crossed arms, to get him there's sort of an illusion in the real world, I guess. Because if you tried to remember what it looked like and then draw your character with closed arms, it would not look very much like a real closed arm situation. All right. Although I must say I did that perfectly. Perfect execution. And the lanyard. And then now looking good. All right. But the boss needs to be a little more relaxed than he was when he first heard the news. He's working with it now. So, save my work. Has Phil been in the strip lately? Not too lately. He's due. So I'm going to give the boss a little bit more relaxed eyes than prior panels because he's now digested the fact. And his mouth will be more. Like that. All right, then I think I can reuse the same art. No, I have to change the angle. Too boring. So I'm going to reuse the art in the last panel, but I'm not going to use it in the next to last because that'd be too much. So I've got to find a new angle, so to speak. All right, so the new angle would be looking over one of their shoulders usually. All right. I don't know if that looks like the back of his head. Does that look like the back of Mordak's head? Slightly. I don't think his ear would be showing. Get rid of that. All right. Well, it looks a little like him, but oops. But I think there wouldn't be as much hair here. Now that ear is gigantic. It's got to go. All right. There we go. Here we go. All right. We're rushing to a conclusion. Now all I have to do is stick a boss in here, and we're almost done. And I'll use this angle of the boss, where he's looking straight on. All right, we'll stick him in here and adjust him a little bit because he's much smaller than that. All right, eyes are going to be different. All right. I almost fall asleep when I'm drawing sometimes. We give him the eyes per normal. All right. I think he said when he says that's an exception, you should have more of a. All right. You need some eyebrows. All right. In the last panel, Mordak says you searched for naked monkeys. And the boss says, I don't need us. But I think the boss should be walking away. What do you think? He should be halfway gone. Is anybody listening? All right. By the way, if you're new, don't forget the Dilbert calendars available. Go to dilbert.com to find the only way you can buy it. All right. So the boss is going to be walking away. All right. Now we'll just carve this up like we're modeling clay. Hmm. All right. We're coming to the close of this experiment. What we've learned is that the studio doesn't show this, even though it says it does. And that's why you test it. Mhm. Whew. I'm just barely staying awake. All right. Those of you who are just joining, we're drawing a Dilbert comic that I wrote right in front of you. When this is done, you can go back to the beginning and see the writing process if you're interested. We started with an idea and turned it into a naughty cartoon. It's not too naughty, though. Just a little bit. Just the right amount. Except it's a mistake. He needs to be holding his coffee. Sometimes I change the hand that he's holding his coffee, but that's an artistic choice. Sometimes you just want it to be on the side that he's walking on. It's a better view of it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting close to the finish line. It's very exciting. We'll indicate he's walking. These are the walking indication lines. Then Mordak needs a mouth. All right. I think that's a comic. Let's see. Where is that cursor? Where, oh, where? There we are. All right. Now, tab. That worked. Where is that cursor again? There you are. All right, here's the full first draft. Boss says, Mordak, can you give me an update on the network status? Mordak says, I could, or I could blackmail you. You know, I can see all of your web usage. The boss is looking worried. He says, what are you trying to say? Mordak says, I'm saying maybe you don't want the world to know about your web searches for naked animals. And the boss says, no animals have clothes. And Mordak says, Oregon grinder monkeys do. And the boss says, that's an exception. And Mordak says, you searched for naked monkeys. And then the boss says, I don't need a status update. So here you go, locals. Sorry about this stupid thing in the way. That's what it looks like. I don't know why there's something up there. So I will send this file over to my assistant, and then what she will do is turn that into a finished comic. And the next time I see it will be a minute before I publish it. So I just check the spelling basically. It's supposed to be the original writer of what? All right. Are your fingers taped? Oh, my fingers are not taped. For those of you who are coming late, it's actually an official glove, but it's a 2-finger glove. And it's because your lower two fingers are the ones that are on the glass when you're drawing. So these are the ones on the bottom. So you don't catch on the glass and get sticky because your hand would be, have oils. So this is actually one of the greatest inventions ever. I used to make my own out of photographer's gloves. You just cut the fingers off, and it was like a little silk glove. But no, the hand is fine. I'm sorry, John, trying to combine Garfield with H.P. Lovecraft. Okay. No, it's not about tendonitis. Not so much. You like the coloring of it? Yeah, that's the fun part. All right. Any questions? Or do you have any questions about the Dilbert calendar that you can get at dilbert.com? Or you can find the link to buy it at dilbert.com. All right. It is turkey time. I hope some of you brought in your family to watch. Did anybody bring in family members to watch? Use for my Goros. I have no idea what you're talking about in the comments there. Sounds good, though. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get serious about eating for all of us. Thanks for joining. If you're feeling in the shopping mood, I've got 5 books. You can find them on Amazon under my name. They are all bangers. They're the best things I've written. They are actually the best things I've written. And they change your life, change the world. True story. So if you like somebody a lot, you might want to give them one of those books. It'll change their life. And the Dilbert calendar, go to dilbert.com to find the link. Thanks for joining. I'm going to go do something else now. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm glad I could finally solve this technical problem. All right. I'm not a quitter. All right. Bye for now.